Take me back to my little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii, where the humu humu nuku nuku apua go swimming by. It's Breakfast with Bob. Chee-hoo.
Macho Man, welcome to our championship edition of Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're at the beautiful Four Seasons Resort Hualalai. We're brought to you by HOKA One Polar, Halo Neuroscience, Velofix, Today's Plan, Normatec, and Triathlete magazine. Our next guest, the fastest American ever at the Ironman World Championship, fourth place yesterday, Mr. Timothy O'Donnell.
All right.
That
Thanks
sounds
so much,
pretty
bud.
sweet. Fastest American ever.
I'll take it.
Wow. 8:03:17. You ever in your wildest dreams think that I'm going 8:03? Or you probably did.
When I was younger and naive, I thought I could easily break 8 hours here in Kona.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it since 2011 and haven't even been close. So
Now you're close.
To start knocking on that door, it's a lot of fun.
You know what's interesting is when you have a day like that, then people start changing their perceptions. You go, oh, well, everybody's going to be hanging down. It's 7:50 and now it'll be 7:40. But you've been here since 2011. Have you ever seen a day like this?
No. Even 2009 and 10, I came to watch Rinny. So,
Yes.
10 races, I've never seen it be so perfect out there.
And when you say perfect, during a bike, any wind or mainly
No,
just tailwind?
we had a tailwind on the way home, which is unheard of.
I heard some guys were saying they're sort of sitting up so they get more of a tailwind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, get the sails out, right?
Right, exactly. One of the things that impressed me from watching yesterday was you and Braden Curry were together, and he got away a number of times. You ended up catching him and going by. But you were so focused. It looked like you were so locked in. It was almost like he wasn't there. Is that the way you felt?
Yeah, I've battled Braden several times in the last year and a half, and he's tenacious. That guy just he chews on nails. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just a tough dude. So I was talking to a friend of mine, Joe Gambles, and he's like, that's the wrong guy to get into like a head-to-head run with.
Right.
He's tough, but I do my best when I just focus on myself and running my race, and eventually I wore him down.
And the other thing you've done this year is go on the Julie Divens.
Yeah.
And you're training with a group, which is fun, right? It's fun, and you went to Kansas, which probably wasn't a lot of fun, but was necessary and probably really suited you well for exactly what happened here.
Definitely. Being out in Kansas, training with Matt Hansen, he's a beast. And, of course, Julie's crew. It was nice for, as you get a little older, every workout has to count. So when you can get down to sea level and recover a little quicker and back up some sessions in that big Kona block, I think it's really important. And it's the first time I've done it before Kona, and I think I'll do it again.
Is there a tendency when you're living at altitude to sort of rationalize a little bit and go, you know what? I ran 5:45 miles, but that's really like 5:30 because I'm at altitude.
Right.
But your body still has to know what a 5:30 mile feels like or a 5-minute mile feels like.
Yeah, it's it's working different systems. Obviously aerobically up at altitude, the stress on your lungs and breathing, it's a lot harder.
Right.
But you don't get the same neuromuscular response, and you don't get a lot of the just the wear and tear on your legs that you can get when you're running faster at sea level.
Right.
We did some long runs. You're running 20 miles at sub-6 pace. I couldn't do that at Boulder. I could do it, but it would
I'd
pay
your
the price.
recovery would
Right,
be
yeah.
horrific.
So being able to kind of get that response, and I felt it in my legs too. They definitely felt stronger at the end of the race.
And so that's probably something you'll do again.
Absolutely. I think altitude, you have to be careful with altitude. It's a great tool, but you have to know when to use it. And everybody with Ironman, you're constantly learning. It doesn't matter how,
Right.
regardless of how many years you've been doing it. And that's something I'm starting to learn now, and it's paying off.
Isn't that funny? You've been in this sport for a long time. ITU racing and Olympic non-draft and 70.3 full. But every single year you come away with, oh my God, I had never tried that before and it worked, or I did that and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's amazing. Right when you cross the finish line and you start thinking, you already start analyzing everything.
Right.
And what am I going to do next year? So I know Rennie does the same thing. We give ourselves 24 hours and then we write down our thoughts, because you want to make sure you remember all those ideas and emotions and everything that comes along with that race experience, so you can use it for the upcoming years.
So where'd you come off the bike? Where'd you come off of the bike?
I came off with that front group that was behind the Uber bikers.
Right.
It was only Cam and Starkey at that time ahead of us. And I blitzed my transition, came out running. I think I got about a 20 or 25-second gap on Patrick and Braden Curry and Bart. And yeah, I felt good running out on a Leahy, running my own pace. And then...
And you guys were together for a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick and Braden caught me, I think, at 6K or 6 miles.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we kind of ran in a little group until about 10 miles. And, you feel great until you don't feel great. I thought I was in control, but it turns out I wasn't. I had a little rough patch around 10 miles, and I lost everybody. Lost Braden, obviously lost Patrick. Bart passed me. But I was able to compose myself and get back in the fight.
And when somebody catches you and they go by, there's a tendency to go, okay, they're better today. And Braden got away a number of times.
Yep.
And in your mind, are you thinking he's gone? Are you thinking, you know what, just stay patient. I can still get him. I'm feeling good.
Right. It's all about your attitude. Obviously you can think, oh, the race, he's gone. I'm never going to see him again. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to hang back a little bit, and maybe I'm going to really discourage him when I come back on him.
Right.
And you keep doing that, and it's just like kind of those little mind games that you play with each other when you're out there battling.
So you and Rennie both, you got fourth, Rennie got fifth. That's pretty, and doing your own TV show, that's perfect timing, right, for both you guys to finish top 5 at this race. When you saw Rennie and how well she was doing, what were your thoughts?
We saw each other going. We passed each other on the Queen K.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was the one that was leading. There's been times on the Queen K where she's run by me, so it was good for both of us that we were in that position. But I actually wasn't sure where she was in the race. I'd only seen Daniela and Lucy. I hadn't seen any of the other ladies.
Yes.
So she looked really good. I just didn't know where she was. But I'm very proud of her for her race. I've said this all week, but coming back from birth and having Izzy as part of our lives and keeping Izzy our number one priority, to still be so relevant at the World Championships, it's amazing. And I know she's not happy with it. She's
of course not.
She
wouldn't be Rennie if she was happy with the fifth place.
Yeah, she's
first time off the podium. I'm sure she's like, that's not going to happen again.
So I know her wheels are turning already too. So yeah, it could be fun next year.
Well, yeah, and the cool part is how you continuously and Rennie reinvent yourselves. I mean, Rennie is riding really well, had the fastest bike split in Augusta, and obviously that's the way Daniela is racing. Right. You can't have a weakness, swim, bike, run. So for Rennie, watching her progression on the bike has had to be pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I think, she's always been known for her run, but to come back this year and really develop her ride, it's great to see. I mean, we talked about earlier about becoming, better athlete and learning over the years, and I think that's part of her race that she's really improving on.
Even though the weather was great, when you see somebody go from 8:01 to 7:52, do you guys come away from that? The other pros come away and go, "Oh my God, we got to go to another level."
Well, yeah, and I think I'm scratching my head. I mean, 3 years ago, or I guess 2016, Patrick, rode 4:38 and ran a 2:40, and then last year he rides a 4:28 and runs a 2:40, and then this year he rides a 4:16, runs a 2:41. How do you do that?
Exactly.
How do you, usually like when I did started riding better here in Kona, my run definitely suffered.
Yes. How do you balance that? Yes.
Yeah, you have to decide what's going to put you in the best position in the race.
And then you see, a Daniela with a 57, 426, and a 257, and 826. I remember when Dave Scott went under 830 for the first time, and we were like, "Oh my God!" So, somebody might even get up towards 8. But now the women are going sub 830.
I've only ridden faster than 426. I think maybe 2 or 3 times here.
Yes. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane.
It is changing.
Yeah. I mean, there's always anomalies in the sport, so you just have to kind of not worry about them and focus on putting your best race together.
Doing this as a dad, does it mean more than been before?
Definitely. This year in particular, having the opportunity to race as a family, travel, really share these experiences with Izzy, and to see her at the finish line, she thinks the whole crowd is there for her.
Which she's right.
It is the Izzy show, right? After all.
She's like, look at all these people are cheering for me.
She's
And
like,
Daddy,
this is
why are you
great.
collapsing on the ground?
Dad, get out of my way.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a lot of fun. It's just been so much joy and positivity in our life that it's made racing more enjoyable as well. And when you've been doing it for as long as Rennie and I have, sometimes you need that different perspective and that different motivation to go to the next level. Rennie's riding, improving. I putting together a better race here in Kona. I think our family life and our happiness in our family life has really been a nice addition this year.
And the fact that you're so close with Mark Allen, and the fact that you went faster than he's ever gone here. You guys chatted a little bit yet?
We did, yeah. We chatted after the race on the pool deck over at the King Cam. But Mark's a great guy, and one of the things Julie and I talked about, it's not just the work we've done here together; it's accumulation of everything I've done, what I've learned from Mark, and before that, Cliff English. I've had really great influences in my career, and while sometimes you don't like changing coaches, I wouldn't change it to have all those experience with so many great people and to learn different skills from different coaches. It's been a blessing.
Well, and the Mark Allen side of it, you worked with Mark specifically for this race.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you draw on some of the things you learned from Mark yesterday.
Yeah, both not just training wise, but
the
from
mental
headspace.
side.
Yeah, exactly, from the mental side.
Love it. How about a round of applause for our fastest American ever at the Ironman Triathlon World Championship, Mr. Timothy O'Donnell.
I'm just a little Hawaiian homesick boy. I want to go back to my fishing boy. Take me back to my little girl shack in Kealakeakua, Hawaii. Where the humu humu nuku nuku apu I'll go swimming by. And breakfast with Bob. Chee-hoo.
Pancho Man! That is a big name of a fish, my friend.
Yes.
He's like flounders.